Okay, so I have to show you something. I wanted to give you an update on the terracing that I have been doing. It's been about 3 days since I started, since I did the last video. And yes, I'm wearing the same clothes, and no, they don't smell that great. And I'm not like bragging when I say this, but I'm amazed at what I've been able to accomplish over the last 3 days with this terrace. And I'm not even sure, like I stand back and I look at it and I'm like, how did I do that? And I think it's kind of the same way I handled every task, even at the old garden, is I keep a vision in my mind. I have a goal set, and then I just put blinders on and just do it. Now I know a thing with ADHD is that you're hyper-focused on things you like, things you don't like homework when I was in school, not so much. But gardening tasks, it's almost like I go into a zone and I just don't stop until I'm done. And it's probably not the best for my body, at least in the short term. I think this house is really going to get me in better shape. But after 3 days, I think that I've really done something that I can say, look at this, there's a definite difference here. The part closest to the house was the hardest, and I had to make some berms around those areas and fill them up with water twice actually, to get enough moisture soaking into the soil where it actually allowed the rototiller to actually go through it pretty easily. Before that, the rototiller was just bouncing off of it. I took a pick and the pick would just bounce right off of it, maybe flake off a tiny little sliver. But this is a lot of earth moved in a matter of 3 days by hand. You can see where I raked it out to here. I mean, that's a lot of earth. And you can see where I pulled it away from the upper section there. So this terrace is 26 feet by 12 feet. And in looking at the design and kind of checking out my drawings, I really think I'm gonna extend these out and make 12-foot beds and a 3-foot path at the end of the beds on each terrace. So that I need an additional 3 feet, which I've actually got. In pulling more of this soil out, I've actually got that. Now it just comes to how I'm going to hold up these walls of dirt. And I've looked into several options. The first and probably the easiest choice, it's what I've used a million times in my life, is lumber. Lumber, maybe some 2x6 pressure treated lumber would last a few years, but it would have to be replaced. And depending on the weight of the soil and the water behind it, it might bow. I don't know. It's questionable. Lumber prices are high right now. And so I looked into retaining wall, making my own cinder block retaining wall, which if I can really learn how to do that, that would save me a lot of money and labor around here, because there's going to be a lot of terracing done on this property. Cinder block actually is comparable in price, if not cheaper, than lumber. I was not aware of that. And so what that will allow me to do in different places is take a cinder block, a blank, plain cinder block wall, and theme it to whatever area I happen to be working. So if it's the Mediterranean garden, I can theme it into like either stucco or maybe flat stone. You can even put a layer of mortar, I think, on the face of it, and then they have stamps that make it look like whatever stone you want to have it look like. In the English garden, I could make it, like stone, like cobblestone, rock walls. So really the sky's the limit there. So I really am leaning to that option. It's definitely not as expensive as I thought, and it's something that's going to last practically forever. But back to the earth moving. While this 3 days to get this whole terrace done doesn't seem like a lot of time, I was out here almost all day each of those days. And it's a lot of work. I don't even probably have to tell you, even if you've never done this, you can look at it and think that's a lot of work. So I don't think, looking down over this area that I still have left to do, 2 more of these I'm not sure that I can do it just me. There's no way I can afford to buy some kind of earth moving equipment. So I'm looking into rentals, and if you know any rental companies in North San Diego County, or if they're nationwide, and maybe I can work out some kind of a deal with them, that would be helpful. I don't think I can do this without something more than this rototiller. It's been a beast. And if you're looking for a rototiller, now I heard something about, several people commented about rear tines. That may have helped more than this one. This one has been amazing. And I think if you have anything other than solid rock dirt like I had, I think this would do the job. If you want to check into it, I'll put a link down below in the video description. But I have no negatives about this. What I have negatives about is just the sheer amount of work involved. Not everything is as glamorous as moving earth, though. You still gotta come down and get rid of all of these terracotta shards, all these rocks. However, I am thinking positive, because you can see this pile of rocks here that I've gotten out of the dirt. They're actually really cool color rocks. They're kind of a reddish orange color, almost like a rusty color. So instead of being negative about all these rocks that I'm having to pull out, I'm thinking about the money I'm going to save when it comes to building a retaining wall, a small retaining wall, around some of the borders in the Mediterranean, like, ornamental garden. Got to see the silver lining in everything. By the way, when I was doing this the other day, I found my first creepy crawly here that I was not used to. A tarantula. It wasn't as creepy as I thought, though. It wasn't big. It was just about that size. I expected tarantulas like this. It was jet black, almost like velvet, covered in like just this fine little fuzz. So it wasn't too scary. Can't say the same about any snakes I might run across. So it'll all be worth it, right? Another revelation I had during this whole process is that I don't want to skimp. This is going to be the vegetable garden forever, and I don't want to skimp on really setting it up properly. And in order to set it up properly, especially with the type of soil this is, first of all, I'm going to get a very thick layer of compost. We're actually having that delivered today, 10 cubic yards of it. Now, I've never ordered more than 3 cubic yards of something in my life, so I'm anxious to see how big of a pile this is going to be. But we're going to definitely put that down. I'm also, instead of planting fall crops here this year, as much as I would love to do that, it really needs a good cover crop. And what cover crops are going to do is, number one, they're going to help break up the deeper soil. And they're also going to feed the soil, because I'm going to be using a legume cover crop. Anybody remember Harry Vetch from the other channel? So I've got the seed for that. I'll be planting that in the next couple of months, and I'm going to actually do a video probably on the Next Level Gardening channel about cover cropping and how to use it effectively, especially through the winter, especially if you have a climate where you can't grow in the winter. So definitely make sure you're subscribed over there at Next Level Gardening. I'll put a link down below. But there's no way I'm going to pass up my first gardening season, the fall season, and not do crops. So let me just show you what I'm doing over on the other side of the house. So up here is our parking lot patio. Over here we had kind of a throwaway area that will be planted with palm trees and stuff as a backdrop to the pool, and part of our jungle walk, which I will show you on a very, very soon upcoming video about my whole vision for the place and laying out the map and everything. But I have, because of that terrace, I become like a terracing beast. I can pretty much knock them out pretty quickly. So as you can see, I've got 3 terraces up here that will serve as a temporary, just this one season, fall, vegetable garden. It gets full sun starting in about a half hour, 20 minutes, and then until about 5 or 6 o'clock tonight, which is full sun. Don't even know what time it is right now, but it's full sun. So these will be traditional no-dig beds. I'm waiting on the compost to get here. Now I am going to be trying a little experiment here. I've got some chicken wire, and this is not gopher wire. This is just galvanized chicken wire. So we're going to see kind of how that works. I think for one season, that'll be totally fine. On top of that, I'm going to we've got tons of cardboard from the move. So I'm going to be covering that with wet cardboard and then a layer of compost. So each one of those terraces will have vegetables. This right here is actually more space than I had for vegetables at my old house. So it may not be the huge, Mediterranean vegetable garden that I was going to have this fall. Actually, I was never going to have it this fall. I knew it wasn't going to be, themed at least, but at least I thought I was going to have 3 big terraces to grow on. Well, I am, but I'm going to be growing hairy vetch and some other cover crops. But right here is where I'm going to plant all my fall crops. So at least I have that. Just got that big, beautiful load of compost delivered. That is from a place in Escondido called Mountain Meadow Mushroom Farm. I think that's the name of it. Really affordable. A lot of you guys recommended it, and I found it and was able to get them to deliver. That whole pile, 10 cubic yards, was $30 to have. You can go there and get it for free if you load your own truck, but it only cost me $30 to get 10 cubic yards plus $8 a mile delivery fee. I've never seen that price anywhere. So it's the next day, and I was able to put a little bit of this compost to good use. I still can't do the vegetable beds yet because waiting for more chicken wire to arrive. That should be arriving tomorrow. But I was able to mulch the tropical plants that I brought with me from the old house. This dirt in here was very poor. I amended it a little bit and then planted because I had to. And then yesterday I was able to mulch very thickly so that these keep a lot of moisture in. You can see some of the leaves do have sunburn, but most of the stems are putting out new growth. And so I think these are going to be okay. My big yellow plumeria, I didn't get to dig up a lot of roots with it, so I'm hoping it'll be fine. So that's what I've been up to the last few days. We are now officially out of the 70-degree weather. Today is going to be in the mid-80s, and then the next 2 days are going to be in the low 90s. So I'll probably be doing some more inside work on those days. I'm still putting together the video to show you kind of my vision of this whole property. So just look for that in the next couple of days. And then tomorrow on our Next Level Gardening channel, we're going to be starting our fall seeds indoors. So hope you're ready for that, and I will see you next time.